This is one of our project sites currently in the works. It's an old lemon orchard that we were looking at restoring with some swales and water catchment features. And with the over 30 inches of rain we've gotten in the last 4 months, the erosion problem here is quite a bit bigger than we ever anticipated building for. And so it fortunately really informs our design in terms of how big our swale catchment and ponds need to be in the overall design. So this ravine here was only about 3 foot deep before. You can see the brown stripes turning to red, the clay layer in there. So it's about 6 foot deep in places. And then we have some nice naturally reinforced sills here. So we'll use this as a catchment for water. Put up some gabions to slow and trap the silt coming down this canyon. And then cut in some swales on both sides and rehydrate this landscape. Looks beautiful now and green, but that's a fairly uncommon 30 inches of rain we've gotten in the last few months. Normally this is just brown and dry and really tough to grow on. So stay tuned and I'll walk you through the rest. So this is the erosion channel at the top of the property where the water enters. And as you can see from the mountains behind, this is a region that's going to drain off a lot of water off the landscape and channel it through here. We're probably talking about hundreds of acres, literally coming down into this erosion channel and continuing on down the property towards the house below. So the idea here is at the entry point of the property, we've got a somewhat level surface to both sides, and we will be able to create a splash pond where the water can come in, slow down so that it doesn't have quite the erosive power, and then we'll lead it off into swales on either side of the pond, starting back up here at the highest point. So we got our laser level out and we measured a few contour lines, and we really found the one we thought looked best in terms of keeping the water highest up on the landscape with an easily manageable path. Now today we have a piece of earth moving equipment coming that will cut a nice wide swath through the landscape here as the first cut into our swale system, and then at a later date we'll have our backhoe come in and excavate out some channels. So I'm walking the flag path right now so you can see what a beautiful, nice area we'll be able to lead the water off into and pacify it into the landscape. So we were thrilled when we actually got the laser to measure us out this line here, because we got all the way out onto this point. So we can really bring a lot of water out here, slowing it down as it goes. And believe it or not, all that's on level from the same point where the water entered the property. So there's a little lemon tree there. And then this is the basin where our swale system will begin overflowing into. We were able to find a very rocky, shallow surface through here for the water from the swale to just sheet off into. And then we have this berm in place here from an earlier orchard excavation. And this part we'll be able to dig out a little pocket pond here on the slope, catch some of the water, and we'll do a banana circle in here. And then on either ends of this berm is kind of an overflow sill, one slightly higher than the other. So as this basin fills up, it'll begin to overflow to one side, and then in a major rain event, if the water's filling faster than it can evacuate, then it'll fill out both sides. And again, coming into kind of a gentle slope, sheeting down, and then we have kind of another somewhat level terrace area through here, and we'll be able to dig another swale across this area and keep the water from washing down onto the road and causing too much erosion for the road. And we're going to be finding our overflow point for the swale through here and channeling it back down towards the original erosion canyon, towards these lemon trees. And then one point where we can see that the water is currently overflowing from these little erosion lines in the roadway. It's going to come down to a low point here and go through these laurel sumac down into this next area where we have surveyed out another slightly smaller swale system. As you can see from the flags in place here, we've got contour lines, and then the center of the original erosion channel. So we are really hoping that we'll be able to slow and stop a lot of water and keep a lot of the silt that's been washing off this mountain down to its base, keep it in place up here, get a lot more trees in the system to retain the soil and the moisture in the hillside and create a little bit milder climate overall on this hill. So stick with us. We got the earth moving equipment coming today, and excited to show you the results. This area of our erosion channel is most concerned to the property owner. The channel got a lot deeper in the last major rainfall, where we had over 10 inches of rain in less than 1 week. It was in 5 days we had 10 inches of rain. And so this was a torrential river coming through here. As you can see, really washing out the embankments. You can see how the turf at the fringe of the canyon here is falling inside. And so what was going to be a little easier swale system to install in the past now is going to take a lot more backfilling, a lot more engineering to keep that water from going down the channel and to get it to go out into swale systems. So we're going to have to take advantage of some narrow spots in this channel where we can build some gabions and refill the canyon with some of the earth from downstream that's been washed out. And water always follows the path of least resistance. And so we want to get the water to slow down, spread out to the sides as much as possible, and keep it out of the erosion channel as we rebuild and renovate this whole area. This is one of the access roads through the orchard, and this is the spot where that access road crosses over the erosion channel. And as you can see from the erosion channel, this really processes a lot of water. The crossing's already been backfilled with some rock and debris to make the channel easier to get across. So what we want to do is right above this crossing area, we want to excavate out a deeper pond, building up a dam wall upstream from the creek here, maybe even installing a culvert that goes underneath the creek to drain off water from this ponding area up here. And then from this pond we'll put swales out on contour. They'll go kind of underneath the drip line of this stand of laurel sumac and out onto the landscape, and actually link up with another swale system that's coming off of the main swale system at the top of the property. So if that main swale overflows, those swale channels will come back in and fill up this pond area here. In a smaller rain event, none of it will fill, and you'll just have water resting and soaking into this pond and let out through swales on the other side. We always want to maintain our access roads wherever possible in designing the system, and prevent future rain events from causing too much damage to the property.